Hello everyone, I have here the LEGO Star Wars The Mandalorian, the Razor Crest. That feels like too many thes. It's also known as, now, the Mandalorian Bounty Hunter Transport, so there's one more the for you. I think, we'll see how this goes, but I think I have surprisingly little to say about this because it's just a spaceship that spaceships effectively and with minimal drama. Let me show you what I mean. For starters, the set just comes with the spaceship and some figures to go with it, appropriate ones at that. The build for this thing did not take as long as I expected for the number of pieces because there is a lot of symmetry, so you're able to do left and right parts of things. Very frequently, you're able to put down two parts instead of one of the same type at a given step pretty frequently, and the end result is something that, like I said, is very effective, and we'll have to look at the interior bits, we'll have to look at the structure of it as well. This does not fill itself up with Technic structure on the inside to start with. You do build a Technic-based structure for the sake of strength, so that you can actually, pick it up and fly it around and stuff, but it's not excessive. None of it really feels excessive to me. It feels very utilitarian. It feels like, it feels like a toy. In a good way, but it also has decent display value. Not the best display value. It definitely could have used more pieces, I think, on the outside to finish it off. I personally, as I've always said, am not at all afraid of studs, exposed studs on Lego parts and Lego builds. But like some of this, I feel, could have had either grills or some tiles added on or something. So just the surface doesn't feel quite as smooth as it could have been. But keep in mind, if they had added more pieces, they would have added more to the price. Now, I'm not going to nitpick over every single tiny little minute detail, but I will say that I think the wing root area of this, front and back, is not quite as nice and distinct as the actual show prop and thing, the in-universe design, which has that really, really geometric design to it that's, it really, really stands out. I feel like they lost a little bit of that in the translation here. I am happy to see these relatively new slope pieces used, both the inside corner and this partial, wedge slope part used to give just a little bit of a different shape than we're used to. You see that used here again. With Lego, other companies have used those parts, those designs in the past. Lego has finally caught up, but really good stuff. Nice to see. And just overall, the level of coverage is good. We don't see funky colors. We don't see lots of yellow and red and blue and all that kind of stuff that we usually hate to see as Lego fans. Sticking through, there's a little bit of it, but it's subtle. It doesn't really yell at you. You have to come all the way underneath. I mean, this is an unusual angle. You have to come underneath the thing to see any of those ugly blue Technic pins. Most of the time, you're not going to see that stuff. So for the most part, this thing is pretty presentable. The best stuff about its design is all inside. So first, let me take off the main canopy here. This has a little handle that you pull straight up and it just pulls out. This is a printed piece and it is a new design. This part is a new design for this year, so I look forward to getting that piece without the prints, but I am glad that this does have a print on it. You don't have to wrap stickers around. That's a requirement from Lego that this be printed like so because it has some decorated surfaces that have curves on multiple axes, so they never force us to put stickers there. They could have forced us to put these on, but this is consistent, and that's good. So that works out, and yeah, again, looking forward to seeing more of those in use in the future. So the cockpit itself, well, it has two seats in it, two actual, regular, normal Lego seats, and then there's a printed console piece at the front, and that's that. So you can fit two full-size figures, or one full-size and one really, really big figure if you want. It's a little bit lacking in detail. I do wish it had something that looked like a gear shift lever in there with a screw-on knob on the top. I mean, just some sort of suggestion. They could have used the crankcase piece or maybe one of those Mixels ball joint type things. I don't know, something just to give us a little gimme there. But fortunately, that can be added in some form fairly easily. And then there's this part back here, which just leans forward. It just tilts. You can also pull that out, but that just gives you space to put a couple of accessories in there. So there are a couple clips here. I could put like minifig weapons up there if I wanted, or other things can fit into this space. Anything that will fit onto a studded base. You know, this is an existing part, not a new part. A lot of people were saying early on that this was using the canopy piece from the UCS A-Wing, and that's totally not the case here at all. This is an existing piece that they introduced for space, I think for the one of the launch vehicle main, like the tip of the main booster unit or fuel tank unit. But anyway, all works out just fine. Yes, stickers are used for most of the other decorations on this set, including that. There's one of those on either side, and those are big. You want to be very careful with those. Let's continue with the interior. I'm actually going to stay closer to the ground with this. Opening it up on one side, you have storage for munitions. Once again, clips. So you can put weapons in there. You can also put spare spring-loaded shooter ammo in there. They have just one spare. The spring-loaded shooters, by the way, are built into the wing roots. Right there. You can see one on either side, and they've got a little remote action to fire that off directly into yourself. Not going to spend any more time on that. It just is what it is. Ramp to get you access to the interior. This all also comes down. This on the back also comes down. Let's keep it going. This comes down. This ramp on the side, where is it? I'm going blind here. There we go. That goes down. And then this goes down. So all that space, you know, is pretty usable. There's very minimal Technic structure actually protruding through the main hull. And in fact, these are two pieces of cargo. I'll just kick those out. Show them to you up close. A couple of small, come on, there we go. Small basic forms, classic forms of carbonite. Folks in carbonite, you see they tried to make it look a little bit diagonal. And these are recognizable from the show, from early on in the show in season 1. So that's what those are. And with those gone, you have even more space. So you can really see all the usable space. There's just not a lot of detail in there, which I think is fine, honestly. They could have put in a wall, but then they probably would have used a lot of structure space, and I don't know, it just wouldn't have been as usable overall. So I personally prefer to be able to transport things in transports rather than not. There is some detail here, though. They've got the sleeping quarters, so you've got space for a single figure to lay down, get some rest there. I am sad, though, that they don't have at least a sticker to suggest the head, the restroom that's up here. I think that would have been a nice little inclusion. I don't know if the designers knew about that, though, at this time. Certainly the folks at Disney did, or Lucasfilm did, but I don't know if the Lego folks did. I'm sure they would like to retroactively add that in now. Just it's a funny little thing. Speaking of funny little things, there's one more funny little thing here. Stick a finger in that, and all this pops out. So another thing that can be removed. This is the escape pod. You can see the couple of reaction control thrusters there. When a person's in there, their face would show through there. There's no window, unfortunately, no actual glass, but this does have space to actually put somebody in there. So they would lay down right there, as a matter of fact. I'll just put a random minifigure in that just happened to be hanging around. So that's how that goes. And that's how that goes. You can see the face through. It works. Simple enough. Doesn't use too many pieces. Integrates well. I dig it. Just like that, it's already time to take a closer look at the minifigures. So this is the Mandalorian in his early season 1 form. Not a fan of the name yet, personally. Starts with a DJ, and I don't know. I'm just not with it yet. At least it's not Lego's fault this time around. He's got his crazy, almost joke weapon from the Star Wars Holiday Special. Unfortunately, this Lego version does not have a stock on it, which makes it look really weird. I actually didn't even recognize it when I first saw this set unveiled but it makes sense now if you just imagine that it has a full rifle stock on it. Again, from early on, I think they did a fine job of replicating this. I mean, there's a good level of detail there. Would have been great to have some side arm printing as well. Underneath the helmet, there is nothing to see because that is the way. And at least until it wasn't, kind of messed that up in universe. Very anticlimactic, the big face reveal. But anyway, again, not Lego's fault. And around the back of that torso, more very good printing there. Good level of detail. Got some metallic print in there as well. Shame you don't see that most of the time. I think that what could have fixed that would have been a soft cloth version of this. Would not have necessarily had the right angle to hang. I don't know. There are good things about these more papery, old school styles of capes. Good things about the newer, more flowy, soft cloth ones. Not sure which I prefer. I think that for a character like this, I would prefer to have the softer one where it can really flow and billow. Let's not beat around the bush with this one. This is Carl Weathers as an official Lego Star Wars minifig. If you had asked me 35 years ago if Carl Weathers would have shown up in the Star Wars universe, I would have said, sure, that seems absolutely plausible. I may not have used those exact words at the time, but that's what I would have been thinking. Carl Weathers in Star Wars, sure. Back then, would have totally made sense. Took a long time, but he finally made it into Star Wars. If you had asked me at any point since then if I would ever have expected an official Carl Weathers Lego minifigure, an official one, I would have said, no, you're crazy. It's not going to happen. Now, they did offset his face on this particular one that I got. It's really not that big of a deal. Fortunately, there's not a lot of print. There's not a lot of facial hair and everything. So the fact that it's offset doesn't ruin the head at all. You have to offset the hair to fit this one, and it's probably going to vary from person to person. But when you do that, you're not seeing any of the other face coming through on the side. So that works out. Very cool, special, collectible, amazing, especially for folks who grew up in the 80s. And yeah, pretty well done. Could have used a little bit more pop, I feel, on the torso. Also could have used some hip and or leg printing. Would have gone a long way. He definitely could have used some leg printing. Probably more than anything, even if it was relatively simple. But hey, it's a Carl Weathers Lego Star Wars minifig. Psst, automatically awesome in at least some ways. Here on the left, we have IG-11, who does not use the same print for the head as they did for IG-88. So that's a brand new print for the head and face and whatnot, which is nice, a little bit deluxe, exclusive. They didn't need to do that, but it's definitely better that they did. And on the right is a most excellent Scout Trooper. Could use some print for the arms next, I think. But as it is, it's just really, really, really good. Print for the torso, print for the hips, print for the legs, the dual molded helmet. The shaping is excellent. The printing on the helmet is excellent. Crisp. Things are registered pretty well. There's a little bit of offset, I think. Maybe there was a little bit of movement or unintended rotation when they printed around the back for those little vent slits. Not aligned quite properly or perfectly, but it's a really good looking figure just overall. And underneath, they have abolished Angry Clone. Thank goodness. This is just a generic random dude, which is perfectly fine and perfectly appropriate. Glad to see it. No alternate face, that's fine. This is all good though. Last but not least, the child, aka Baby Yoda. You can call it whatever you want. We haven't gotten an official name for the character yet, and that's perfectly fine. Baby Yoda works. Absolutely. The child works. I think Lego actually did a better job with this than I ever thought they did. After seeing the official photos of this, it didn't look great to me. It still doesn't look great, but it looks much better in person than it did in photographs to me. The head is made with the rubbery material because these ears are fairly thin, so they didn't want them to be able to break off. Can you imagine if those were actually able to properly articulate? Like if there was a wire inside or something that would allow you to change the angle, that would be too much. But The slightly satin finish really, really helps. Making it not super glossy really helps. And the expression looks pretty good to me. Like, I definitely think this is superior to everything that we thought it was going to be. So I'm happy about that. It's not on par with the real thing, right? But it's more than close enough. I'm very happy with this. The little print for the torso is good. And yeah, it's just a good thing. They also got the wrinkles. Let me just turn this a little bit. The wrinkles on the top of the head. See? I'm telling you, it's pretty good. Nice job, designers. Finally, here are the leftover pieces, the spares. There aren't very many for the size of the set. But then this spent sticker sheet shows you that the sticker load for this set is immense. Absolutely immense. But I will tell you, to me, as I built this, it did not feel like there were too many stickers. It felt like an appropriate number as I went along. For the number of steps compared to the number of steps that involved applying a sticker, it really wasn't that bad. These two, though, kind of suck. A lot of people are going to have a lot of trouble with these. Patience. When you first take it off the sheet, just a little tip. When you first take it off the sheet, turn it around, place it against the half cylinder piece backwards. So top down, adhesive up, place it against it, get an idea for the size of the thing, how much buffer space you need to have on either side so that when you finally tack it down on one side, try to get that one side correct, you'll know that as long as you put it down flat, it will end up lining up on the other side. You won't have a huge gap or overlap, with too much of it sticking off the piece. So be careful. It is absolutely doable. I actually found these to be a little bit more difficult to apply, but that is what it is. I did feel like the sticker load for this set overall was pretty appropriate. Now the price is $130 US, and that does feel like a lot because, well, frankly, for most people, it is a lot. $130 is not pocket change. But though it does absolutely feel like a lot, I don't feel ripped off with this because I feel like I got something here that I like, that's done well. I appreciate the design work that went into this. I appreciate the look of the thing. I appreciate the figures. The amount of interior space that's usable is really good. I feel like probably what's worst about this is its appearance. Like, the aesthetics are not completely on point. But that said, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And for something that, what's the age rating on this again? 10 plus? I could see it being put together by a lot of kids that are under the age of 10. But for something that's designed to be easy enough to put together by someone who's not super skilled with Lego stuff, except with the stickers. Like, the stickers require some level of skill to get right, but otherwise, like, the actual assembly process is not that complex. This is not like an expert level thing. For something that's just a toy level set, I think it's very, very good. So again, price, definitely expensive. It's a lot of money, but I don't feel bad about having paid that price 6 months ago when I pre-ordered the thing. I guess one thing that I didn't do was like bring it close to me just for the sake of showing you size and scale a little bit more. It's pretty sizable. It's got some bulk to it. It's not huge, but it's, pretty decent. Definitely has some weight to it. I'm glad that with all that bulk though, it actually has that usable space inside. It's plenty strong, even though it looks so skeletal when you bring all these panels down, Where is that? Is there one here as well, or did I already bring that down? Nope. There. Yeah, it looks like it would be super weak, like a 2010 era or slightly before late aughts era set, but it's not. It's actually very strong. And you can, look at this, you can hold it just by the tail. So for the sake of swishing, it's one thing that you can do. Thing's actually swishable, as big and heavy as it is. One hand, not a problem, or just put a hand underneath here. That works. All these panels here, I wouldn't want to grab them too hard, but up front, that works as well. Kind of cradling it like this. From the wings, you can do that too. Good stuff. Overall, I'm just satisfied with this. The print there, yeah, not bad. Expensive to be sure. But in the end, feels like if it's not worth it now, it will be worth it in the long term. From the joy of having it, keeping it, having it on display, you know, bringing it off the shelf from time to time, appreciating those figures and stuff. Yeah, not bad at all. So if you want to see how this went together, I've got the build videos for it done. If they're not up as of the time of the upload of this video, they will be up pretty soon, so you can check those out on their respective channels, and I'll talk to you again soon. Let me know if you have any thoughts about this in the comments. Bye for now.